Percy Pringle III presents from Canada, 317 pounds, the lumberjack Joe LeDuc. And from Africa, 234 pounds, the television champion, Steve Simpson. Bronco Lubitsch, your referee.
Bronco Lubitsch will officiate our first bout, which is for the television championship tonight. Steve Simpson defending against lumberjack Joe LeDuc, a member of the Percy Pringle regime, manager extraordinaire. And boy, does he ever look the part tonight in that wild white, actually yellow and black jacket with the black stars on the yellow background. Percy jumps down, and away we go. Joe LeDuc and Steve Simpson opening it up for the TV title. $5,000 on the line tonight. Joe LeDuc goes down. Steve Simpson with the drop kicks, and we start with a bang. LeDuc all the way through the ropes and out to the floor. And Percy Pringle heads around there in a hurry. Percy Pringle screaming at Bronco Lubitsch. LeDuc back through the rope. Well, we're all shocked about this world title situation. We don't know much, like I say, about the champion. This bout has a 15-minute time limit. I want to make sure that that is made clear. 15-minute time limit. Steve Simpson has the head locked up by lumberjack Joe LeDuc, as you see Percy on the near side of your picture. Don't know much about the bout that took place either between Black Bart and gentleman Chris Adams, other than Bart won it. I will find out what I can between now and the time the world title bout takes place, about which you will get to see here tonight on Channel 11. Simpson gets back up and glares at lumberjack Joe LeDuc.
That's what you call a champion, my champion.
Percy Pringle with the usual arrogance in his personality. Very proud of his outfit, which he's wearing with a pink shirt, black tie. Steve Simpson locking up the lumberjack in the ring. You heard me mention last week that we use the term lumberjack when describing Joe LeDuc in the literal sense, and that he is from the tall timber country of Canada, Western Canada. Has worked in the mill. Has worked with the crews that handle the timber for the lumber industry, and he is a legitimate lumberjack.
We have a correction on the time. This is a 15-minute time limit, not 20. 15-minute time limit.
Steve Simpson from the ropes running into Joe LeDuc and knocking him back. Now he locks up that head again. Tonight I want to talk to you about Mesquite on Sunday, the 28th of September, a big 3 o'clock extravaganza in the new rodeo arena. Percy wiping his brow, somewhat concerned about his match. Tonight we'll talk to you folks in Waco about the big card coming tomorrow. El Dorado, Arkansas, Hot Springs, Arkansas, Colony, and Lafayette. Percy Pringle gets the crowd to make noise. The television title bout is your exclusive title event here each and every week on Channel 11 and World Class Wrestling. Tonight for $5,000 being defended by the champion Steve Simpson against lumberjack LeDuc. If LeDuc wins it, he wins the $5,000 and defends it next week. If Simpson wins it, he defends next week for $6,000. If LeDuc wins it, of course, the pot goes back down to $1,000 next week as he builds toward the 10-week quest and the $10,000. Simpson backed over the rope. Headbutt by LeDuc. LeDuc now grades him across that rope. And Simpson is smarting now. From behind, it's LeDuc. Simpson raked across that rough, coarse tape rope. Here we go again. I don't like that. Holy cow. Good crowd coming in tonight for this big card. Fans in person will be seeing World Six-Man action. And you might get to see it as well, depending on how television and time and the bouts all move for this 2-hour period. Fans making noise for Steve Simpson as Joe LeDuc moves in with some sort of chokehold. Bronco Lubitsch won't tolerate that. Counts him off, and LeDuc leaves with a parting shot to the head. Simpson with a drop. Simpson gets it cranked up, locks up the head, delivers the right, knocks him back into the rope, climbs up on LeDuc and pulls him out. LeDuc rolls over the ring, but turns and comes back with a quick kick that Simpson was not expecting. Give credit to lumberjack Joe LeDuc for coming back as he jerks him off that rope. So a new world heavyweight champion defends the belt tonight. I know you're shocked at home to hear that, a bolt out of the blue, just like we have been throughout World Class today. Fans making noise for Steve Simpson. There you see them as well as hear them. Percy Pringle, manager of lumberjack Joe LeDuc, as well as Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, and Maniac Matt Borne. LeDuc picks him up, upside down, and drops him over the knees. Steve Simpson has run into a train here for the TV title tonight. Lumberjack Joe LeDuc, a very methodical man in the ring. Really is putting up a fight with Steve Simpson as Bronco Lubitsch again wants him off. And LeDuc keys. World Class, the referees. Simpson knocked back into the rope. I was talking about the referees. Joe LeDuc locks him up again. Referees will be asserting their authority in the ring. You'll notice that. And all wrestlers have been warned that there will be no tolerance in that ring. World Class, of course, first asserted itself when they said that a champion would lose the belt on any disqualification that might take place. And that earned the high acclaim from wrestling fans around the world. Nerve class here by lumberjack Joe LeDuc on Steve Simpson. We'll be seeing a newcomer tonight by the name of Spike Johnson from Malibu Beach, California. As Percy looks on, we'll be seeing Black Bart in action for the world title tonight. I'll find out some details on him if I get the chance. Cotton Bowl Extravaganza, third annual, Sunday afternoon, October the 12th. Elbows by Steve Simpson. LeDuc to one knee. Simpson on that left arm. Remember, your wrestling ticket admits you to the fair. Enjoy the fair all day. Move into the Cotton Bowl for the wrestling action that afternoon. Go back out on the fair that night, and then save your stub. It's good for admission to the fair on the 15th of October, as well as the 23rd of October. You can't find a better bargain. Rainbow Ticketmaster, the place to get your seats, including all area Sears stores. Preston Ticket Agency in Dallas, Central Ticket Office in Fort Worth. The Rainbow Ticket Agency, their offices in Dallas, Sun Rexall Drugs. And we'll have choice seats for our in-person customers every Friday night at the Sportatorium in Dallas, every Monday night here at Will Rogers Coliseum, Fort Worth. Percy Pringle complaining about things as Simpson is backed off by the referee. Percy Pringle moving around.
Somebody better buy them a rule book, learn a few rules around here.
Percy upset with the authority of the official in the ring, especially when it involves his man, Joe LeDuc. Steve Simpson with a hand in the air along with Joe LeDuc. A test here. Watch the hand behind. LeDuc has no desire to use both hands. He's just bending Steve Simpson's arm and wrist backwards as Simpson goes to his knees. A little of that lumberjack brute streak being shown. Rockolovich warns Joe LeDuc about the eyes as Luke slaps Simpson into that rope. Now he steps across and is choking, I believe. Lovich counts him off. LeDuc gets in another shot. LeDuc with a headlock. 15-minute time limit for the television championship. $5,000 on the line. As Percy Pringle looks on from ringside. There he is. Now you're seeing the action as Percy sees it with the over-the-shoulder camera shot. Again, Simpson is raked across that rope. That's been LeDuc's favorite move in this bout.
Just give me the chance. Give me the chance.
Percy with cane in hand saying, give me the chance, whatever that means. Mad Dog Sawyer and Maniac Matt Borne, World Tag Team Champions, thanks to the Convention Center tournament, as Simpson has the arm of Lumberjack LeDuc. Percy wanting to know how much time has gone, but Joe Rinelli, of course, is the timekeeper. LeDuc taken down. Simpson in charge, and Percy paces back and forth in anguish.
5 minutes remaining, only 5 minutes left.
Only 5 minutes remaining in the time limit, as we are informed by Joe Rinelli. LeDuc did something to Simpson back there. We were screened out with the body, but whatever it is, Simpson backs away and is hurting. Percy coaching LeDuc. Socko over again.
Down him now, Joe. Down him now. You got him. 5 more minutes, brother. Down him.
Percy wants that $5,000 with his man as he coaches Lumberjack LeDuc, who bounces Steve Simpson back from that rope. LeDuc again goes to the throat, picks him up. Simpson is hurting. He's taken some punishment. And there's a drop kick by Lumberjack Joe LeDuc. The big man with the drop kick. 1, 2, and not quite 3.
4 minutes remaining.
Joe Rinelli with a 4-minute call as Joe LeDuc continues his punishment on Steve Simpson. Percy Pringle wanting a quick count over there. We'll have an interview coming up after the bout, and then our next event, the Dingo versus Mark Youngblood. I'll talk to you a little bit about the mesquite card on the 28th. LeDuc chops Simpson down on his back. He rolls over on his side. LeDuc on Steve Simpson. Hand around the chin, one on the hair, bending that head, straining the neck. Rockolovich wanted that hand out of the hair.
He said yes. I heard him say yes. He said yes. He said yes.
Percy claiming that Simpson has given in, but that is not the case, as now LeDuc bends him over that rope. Rockolovich pulls him off.
3 minutes, only 3 minutes remaining.
3 minutes remaining in the time limit as Simpson comes away from the ropes like he's a little bit angry, and he strikes in on LeDuc. Joe is thrown, comes back to Lumberjack. His elbow down by Simpson. There's a pin. It could be. There's 2. And the bell is ringing. Wait a minute. That's Percy ringing the bell. This bout isn't over. Percy Pringle was ringing the bell. Percy Pringle rang the bell. That was not Joe Rinelli. Now Percy denying it. And Rockolovich says, let's wrestle. Percy got in a panic state when Simpson was about to pin LeDuc and came over and rang the bell. LeDuc is pulled out from the corner. Steve Simpson is rolling. Count of 1 before LeDuc kicks out. Percy upset. He came around, jeopardized the outcome of this bout by ringing the bell.
Only 2 minutes. 2 minutes remaining.
He thought LeDuc might get pinned. He rang the bell. Simpson is in charge now as Percy worries about it at ringside. LeDuc in trouble. Less than 2 minutes remaining. We're going to go to the wire for the TV title tonight. I'm glad you joined us early. Simpson can't pull him back in. LeDuc wasting time over there. I don't know if he's hurt or if this is a deliberate attempt. Simpson with a knee to the ribcage. LeDuc turns with one of his own. LeDuc now coming back. Percy Pringle, boy, he just doesn't stop at anything, does he? Now, can you imagine ringing the bell during the middle of the bout? Simpson with a right. LeDuc in the back corner. Elbow drop to the back of the neck.
Only 1 minute remaining, 60 seconds.
1 minute remaining. Here comes Percy around. Keep your eye on him. Simpson with a shot to the midsection. Simpson with a lock and a jab to the throat. Only a few seconds remaining as LeDuc comes back in, grabbing Simpson, and he throws him to the floor.
30 seconds remaining, half a minute.
30 seconds remaining as Simpson is quick to move back into the ring. Simpson with a drop kick onto the shoulder. LeDuc hangs on that rope to keep from going down. Percy right over here in the middle of this. Only a few seconds remaining. Time limit draw allows Simpson to retain the belt. LeDuc goes to the eyes. And there's the bell. The time limit has expired. The bout is over. LeDuc, though, still on to Steve Simpson, ringing again. LeDuc with that wild-eyed look. Here's Joe Ranelli with the belt and the announcement about the winner.
Neither wrestler able to gain a pinfall advantage. A time limit draw. Steve Simpson, the television champion, retains his championship TV belt.
Percy Pringle has been in the face of Bronco Lubitsch while the belt is awarded to Simpson. Percy upset about this, but to no avail. His attempt to ring the bell and end the bout early did no good. I want to first talk about the excitement coming to the Sportatorium in Dallas. Friday night, September the 26th at 8 o'clock. You'll be seeing the U.S. Express in action. Brad and Bart Batten on the exciting card. You'll be seeing the grappler, Mike Reed, in action. And then some mini bouts already signed, including the main event. You'll be seeing Steve Simpson versus Lumberjack Joe LeDuc on this exciting card. Tag team action, Maniac Matt Borne and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer face the exciting team of Chris and Mark Youngblood, the team that did so well in the World Tag Team Tournament, going to the semifinals at the Convention Center only a few weeks ago. You'll see Black Bart in a sensational bout against Lance Von Erich. We'll be talking more about him throughout tonight's telecast. And then the main event is the Dingo Warrior versus Bruiser Brody. That is a beauty of a main event. Friday night in Dallas, September to the 26th at 8 o'clock. Remember, we'll have those choice seats available for you for the Cotton Bowl October the 12th for our in-person customers. I'm joined now by Spike Johnson, the first man who will speak to us.
That's right. I want you people out here in Texas, I want you to remember the name Spike Johnson. That's right. I'm the baddest athlete to ever come out of Minnesota. I'll tell you what, I have no conscience. The other day I tried to lower myself to help some old lady out on the street carry her groceries, but I couldn't do it. I had to drop them. I had to kick them all over the ground, and I have no conscience, and I could beat any wrestler in Texas right now.
A little confidence illustrated here by Spike Johnson, saying that he can beat anybody who might come in. Let's talk now to Mad Dog Sawyer and Maniac Matt Borne as they are joined by Percy Pringle in the ring.
Now, everyone in this arena saw Steve Simpson get beat just a few minutes ago.
We didn't see that. We did see you ring the bell in the middle of the bout.
Hey, I didn't touch that bell. Miss America over there had something to do with that. I didn't touch that bell at all. That's all these liars around here. But let's forget about that. Everybody knows who won the match. What I want to talk about is the new chapter in the Pringle dynasty. Chapter number 2. Buzz Sawyer and Matthew Borne, the World Tag Team Champions. You know I've been manager of the World Champion. I'm manager of the World Tag Team Champion.
and it won't be long, and it's going to be the world's sixth man, brother. This is the Pringle dynasty, and you're looking at the best. Come on.
Bart, all you people out there, you ought to feel a little bit, you ought to feel a lot of gratitude that you've got two champions that are honest, that speak from the heart, and that perform from the heart. You've had champions out here, and there's one champion still, Chris Adams. He does nothing but come out here and feed you a bunch of lines. A few months ago, he'd tell you one thing. Now he's telling you another thing. We've never told you anything but the truth. And the truth of the matter is that we are the baddest in the world. Not just in Texas, but the baddest in the world. And these belts right here and this manager right here is the proof of that. And if there's anybody out there that wants to challenge that, we're easy to find. Here we are.
Hey, put the microphone right, all you people on TV land, all you fat guys sitting back, and all the ladies sitting there saying, why can't you be like the Mad Dog? Why can't you be like Matt Borne? I'll tell you why. Because both of us, the time we were in this small, we grew up getting beat up and beating up people. But now we're big boys. And say bad. B-A-D. Mad Dog, Bud Sawyer, and Matt Borne. You were talking just a second ago about how good that some people did in the tournament, about how they made it to the semifinals. Well, you're looking at the people that won the tournament. You're looking at the world champion, Erich. You're looking at the world champion, Steve Simpson. You're looking at the world champion, Chris Adams. You're looking at the epitome of professional wrestling. And you're looking right here at the
difference is, Buzz, we got it right here. We got it right here. You people don't. You people are drinking whatever you're drinking. You're eating your chips, and you're saying, well, I can do that. I can do what those guys are doing. But all it is talk. If you really think you can, you would be out here, and we would be out there. That's the difference between us and you.
And the bottom line is, if you got it and you think you can, come and give us a gut check. Let's see what you got. Why don't you find my tailor? Maybe he'll look a little bit better.
Yes, I'll make a point to do that. Percy Pringle, Maniac Matt Borne, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, and Spike Johnson providing us with comments about the past, present, and future. We'll be back with Dingo Warrior in our next bout. Starts at 8, and I hope you're with us. Be on hand to see the exciting cards which feature such great bouts as Lumberjack Joe LeDuc facing Brian Diaz. We'll be seeing Black Bart on this exciting card going against Chief Mark Youngblood. Ravishing Rick Rude has a big bout with Mike Von Erich. And Mike looked better at the Sportatorium last Friday night than I've ever seen him look. And I'm looking forward to that bout coming up Monday between he and Ravishing Rick Rude. The main event Monday is the big six-man elimination bout, and I'll explain the elimination rules once we get into our next bout. Let me run down the stars that are in this. You'll be seeing Maniac Matt Borne, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, and Abdullah the Butcher in this six-man elimination bout against the exciting team of Lance Von Erich, Bruiser Brody, and a suitable teammate that they are going to line up and tell us about shortly. Lance Von Erich, Brody, and a third man against Borne, Sawyer, and Abdullah the Butcher. Can you imagine an elimination bout with those names involved? It'll be a great night, a great card Monday. Look forward to seeing you here in person. Let's go to the ring now. Joe Rennell is standing by to introduce our next bout.
This man, one fall, 20-minute time limit. Introducing first from the Queens, New York, 291 pounds, the Dingo Warrior. And from New Mexico, 237 pounds, a very capable opponent, Chief Mark Youngblood. And Rick Hazard, your referee.
You heard Percy Pringle's comment a minute ago referring to Joe Rennell. That was about his success with the pageant girls, which last week went on one of the major networks' primetime newscasts as a feature. Monday night, I'm talking about this six-man elimination bout, and it is a beauty of an event. As the Dingo Warrior and Mark Youngblood open it up, let me run down the elimination rules for Monday. Elimination match simply means let's first watch the action in the ring as the Dingo throws Mark Youngblood completely off of it. Now, we know the Dingo Warrior to be big, strong, and mean. And he has opened this bout up here with Youngblood in high fashion. A kick by the Dingo surprises Mark Youngblood. Dingo has him in the rope, throws him right side, rebound across. Youngblood lands on his feet, surprises the Dingo, but the big man from Queens, New York simply grabs the rope, and Youngblood goes flying back. Youngblood gets out of the way of the elbow before he comes back with a drop kick. So each man has scored here in the opening seconds of this event. Monday night, the main event elimination match means that when a man is eliminated, he has to leave the ring and go to the dressing room in the back of the building. His team continues the match without him. A man can be eliminated by pinfall, submission, or by disqualification. The match then continues until one team is completely eliminated. And when you look at those 6 men involved, I don't see how any of them are going to be eliminated. Half Nelson here by the Dingo Warrior on Mark Youngblood, who takes the body down by hooking the leg around the knee. Nice moves here by each man. Seeing some talent here. You put Bruiser Brody and Lance Von Erich on the same team, and whoever teams with them, how are you going to eliminate those people? How are you going to eliminate Abdullah the Butcher? How are you going to eliminate people like Maniac Matt Borne and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, who you never know, in other words, you never know what they're going to do next, so how can you eliminate them? It'll be a great main event, a main event that might take a while with those names in it. Monday night, Youngblood backed into the rope. Knee left by the Dingo Warrior. Youngblood flying back and forth across, comes across with the press. The Dingo grabs him, but nevertheless falls back into the rope. Youngblood breaks free, and it's still anybody's bout. World-class Championship Wrestling is the #1 fundraiser for nonprofit organizations in the Great Southwest. Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas. And if you would like to secure a world-class nonprofit fundraising wrestling card for your nonprofit organization, you can find out information on that by calling 387-3800 as Rick Hazard tries to hold the Dingo back. Youngblood uses his own right to help the cause. Notice how the officials are not putting up with anything tonight. 387-3800, the number you call. That's an 817 area code number. That's for representatives of nonprofit organizations to call regarding securing the #1 fundraiser for nonprofit organizations in your area. Here's the Dingo with a chop, and everybody heard that. You hear the response from the crowd. Another one pops across the chest. Youngblood, look out, Dingo charges, but Youngblood is out of the way. Youngblood with the Indian chops, both hands together, has him in the corner. Right side, the return, and the Dingo is in bad trouble with Youngblood. Fans here in Will Rogers tonight are still buzzing about the news of a new World Heavyweight Champion thanks to the bout on the West Coast over the weekend. Chris Adams now must try to get the belt back from this Black Bart, a man who I understand is from the Badlands of South Dakota. The Western image. Youngblood down. Dingo picks him back up, delivers the knee to the midsection. Rick Hazard warning the Dingo about this action in the rope. Youngblood to the floor. Youngblood out on the floor in front of the world-class banner. Over the top rope, the Dingo drops the weight of his body down, jerking the neck over that rope, and then stomps him back out on the floor. Here's Youngblood back up to the apron. Jerked back into the ring with the flip over the rope. There's a kick. Tonight we have a big tape feature for you. Lance Von Erich and gentleman Chris Adams against the Dingo Warrior and Socko from the Convention Center. Dingo Warrior pressing Mark Youngblood high over the head and turning him down. Youngblood in trouble here with the big press over the head by the Dingo Warrior. The muscles flexing in those tremendous arms and shoulders. You heard me mention last week talking about the Convention Center. In fact, you saw a clip of it at the top of the hour last week about how Dingo turned on his new teammate, the Socko, and just beat him to a pulp after the bout. That's our tape feature tonight coming later. You'll also be seeing World Heavyweight Championship action coming up. So stay with us. We'll be talking to Mike Von Erich, Lance Von Erich, his cousin. Gary Hart will be out. So we're just getting started here on Channel 11 tonight. Be with us until midnight. We've got an action-packed show. There's a lovely lady in the crowd. Speaking of the crowd, I'm glad to see a big crowd on hand here in the building tonight. This is a great time of year to be enjoying pro wrestling in person. The school always starting, of course. Everybody stays home a little more, and this is your opportunity to get that great seat. Being here in person just adds that extra dimension to the enjoyment that you experience when watching bouts on television. Because you are here in the middle of the excitement. The Sportatorium and Will Rogers give you the opportunity to be so close to the action. Youngblood leaps across, turns, Dingo is ready to turn him and slam him over. What an awesome move by the Dingo Warrior as he maintained his entire body on Youngblood as he turned him over. Rolls him over for the pin. It could be, it might be, no, count of two. Dingo Warrior still in charge. I have people several times a week tell me, Clark, this is the first time we've ever been here in person, and boy, have we ever had fun. Never knew it was this much fun. Fun to be here, a part of the crowd. Monday night will be a great night to be here with that awesome six-man elimination bout. I'll be running down Friday night's card in Dallas again. You've already heard me mention the big bout between the Dingo Warrior and Bruiser Brody of the Sportatorium this week. Black Bart, the current World Heavyweight Champion. Don't know if he will be Friday night or not because we have a bout tonight involving the title. But nevertheless, he'll be there facing Lance Von Erich. Mark and Chris Youngblood team of the Sportatorium Friday. Be with us in person. We'll have those choice seats for the Cotton Bowl available Monday and Friday night. Dingo in charge here on Mark Youngblood, the Indian chief, full-blood Indian. Action in the center of the ring. Youngblood uses the headbutt, but I think he butted himself as well. That hurt. Knee lifts by the Dingo along the ropes. Dingo grabs Mark Youngblood and picks him up high over his head and drops him down. Youngblood hits hard, the ring shakes as the Dingo Warrior continues to punish the chief here. Tonight it's Abdullah the Butcher versus the Zulu in a match which continues until one man is carried out on a stretcher. Now, we will try to show you that on television tonight, but I make no promises, because when you get a man in such a shape that he's got to be carried out, you might not be able to show that on public television. So we will do our best. Youngblood now doing his best with the Dingo. Comes from the near side, ropes with a drive. The Dingo Warrior into the elbow by Mark Youngblood, rebounding and bouncing off that far rope. Dingo has him over the rope, pulls him back into the other rope, now backwards. Left side, return, the kick by Youngblood. Youngblood with a kick to the head. The Dingo Warrior is thrown. Here comes Youngblood, look out. Big man out of the way. Sunday afternoon, a week from tomorrow, September 28th, 3 o'clock, Mesquite Rodeo Arena. Dingo with a clothesline. Did you see that? He cocked that arm, reared back, and put Youngblood down. 1, 2, 3, no doubt about it. Oh, what a clothesline by the Dingo.
The Dingo Warrior.
This 8,000-seat building is shaking. This surprising chain of events that occurred over the weekend. David?
Well, that's right, Mark. You know, it's a surprise to us. For one thing, as all of you already know, Chris Adams was defeated by Black Bart. He is no longer the world heavyweight champion. But since that time, there's been a lot of other things that have come about that were a real surprise. As of just a few minutes ago, Chris Adams was to get a return match tonight against Black Bart for the world heavyweight title match. We have just been notified that because of federal problems with the federal authorities, Chris Adams has been held up tonight here in Fort Worth and will not be able to come to the building. Therefore, we had stated, and there was a contract signed for a world title match. We have rounded up the people in the back that are still here. The people that are in the world six-man title match will not be eligible. We're going to bring everybody else out here and let the people choose who they would like to wrestle Black Bart for the World Heavyweight Championship match.
That sounds like a great idea, David.
It is a great idea. The main thing is, you know, Black Bart is the World Heavyweight Champion, and no matter how he won the belt, he did.
What is this, David? Is he on a horse? I can't see for the camera. This is Black Bart riding a horse to the ring. I have never seen this, David. A horse in the arena. The new world heavyweight champion arrives Will Rogers Coliseum in style on a beautiful gray horse.
Mark, if you will, will the wrestlers in the back that have been notified, please come to the ring so the people can choose who this man's opponent will be.
All right, David, asking for the challengers to come to the ring. Here is the horse that Black Bart, the new world champion, is riding. He won the belt over the weekend. We know very little about this new world champion from the Badlands of South Dakota. Here he is with the belt. There goes the horse, his branding iron with him, as David Manning and I wait on the challengers for this world title tonight to come to the ring.
Excuse me there, bud. Let me say something there. You keep your mouth shut, or I'll put this where the sun don't shine. You understand that? Where is Chris Adams? In California, Black Bart. From South Dakota, the Badlands of South Dakota. Beat Chris Adams. Now, he ain't here, and he's got some personal problems, and I just can't help that. Why don't you get some geek? There you go. Come on in here, boys. Come on in here.
All right, the men are arriving from the back. Oh, look out. Here we've already got problems, and there goes a big black hat flying out into the second row. Steve Simpson not appreciating one bit the rhetoric from the new world champion. Now we're going to try to get order restored, or I'm going to get out of here, and we'll try to have the choosing as it takes place. Bronco Lubitsch is out with David Manning. All right, David says, now ladies and gentlemen, let me have your attention. David Manning will put his hand on the head of each man, and your noise and enthusiasm will dictate who faces Black Bart for the title. The grappler, Chief Mark Youngblood. Brian Adidas, the Zulu, Steve Simpson. Without a doubt, it's going to be Steve Simpson. Let me round up Doyle King for the formal introduction of this bout for the World Heavyweight Championship. Unforeseen circumstances may lead up to one beauty of a bout. Doyle?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a one-fall, 60-minute time limit bout. This is for the World Heavyweight Championship belt here in World Class. Introducing first, in the white corner to my right, Black Bart, the World Heavyweight Champion, his challenger, weighing in at 234 pounds, from Africa, Steve Simpson. Bronco Lubitsch is your referee.
My, this bout gets started as soon as the bell sounds. Black Bart, the newly crowned World Heavyweight Champion, on Steve Simpson, the new challenger as of this very moment. Here we go, the bell is sounded. One fall, 60-minute time limit. World Heavyweight Championship on the line, and Steve Simpson goes against this big man from the Badlands of South Dakota, who entered Will Rogers Coliseum on a tall gray horse tonight. Simpson ducks under the clothesline. Here he comes back, body press. Black Bart goes down. One, and that's all. David Manning out explaining some of the circumstances about the bout that took place over the weekend, saying that Black Bart won it, reconfirming what we'd already talked about, then explaining that federal authorities have detained Chris Adams. I don't know what the problem is there, but we've got to worry about the bout at hand now. The World Six-Man people who are involved in that bout later tonight were not eligible to go for the world title tonight, and it was the fans' obvious choice. It wasn't unanimous, but he was a heavy favorite, in that Steve Simpson was chosen to go against this Black Bart for the World Championship. Black Bart, a big guy. With those big cowboy boots, he's from South Dakota. He's thrown into the corner. Simpson takes him over with the arm drag. Leg scissors, pull him over. Simpson just turned a great big man over. He's done it again with the leg scissors. And Steve Simpson, who rose to the occasion back in May of this year at Texas Stadium in that big World Six-Man bout on that Sunday afternoon, is rising to the occasion again, and he has a great chance of walking out of this ring as the new world champion. What an exciting moment it will be if that happens. In the meantime, we've got to really go to school and find out about this Black Bart, who was an upset winner over gentleman Chris Adams. My, what an unusual turn of events leading up to this unexpected bout. Simpson maintaining the leg scissors on Black Bart. Simpson has used those leg scissors effectively already in this bout, and he really is giving it all he's got now. Black Bart in between the legs of Steve Simpson, who wants out of this with a victory for the gold. The belt rests on the table as Simpson holds on. Big rematch coming to the Cotton Bowl. Bruiser Brody and Abdullah the Butcher with two referees. We'll have more news as the Cotton Bowl gets closer. enthusiastic Steve Simpson fan watches from the very front row. Fans booing Black Bart, who's out on the Coliseum concrete. With the arm in the air, and Black Bart goes to the midsection. Big man takes him to the corner, head in the turnbuckle. Simpson falling back, holding on to the top rope, as Black Bart now bends him backward over the left side rope. Bronco Lubitsch watches, warning Black Bart, who delivers a big right to the upper body. Head in the turnbuckle, and Simpson falls back. There's a jab, and he had a thumb protruding from his fist as he jabbed Steve Simpson in the throat. Big chop. We heard that when Simpson staggering back into the ropes. Simpson goes down, and Black Bart's intensity and force of that move took him off his own feet as well. Here's a pin. 1, 2. Simpson is thrown through the ropes out onto the concrete as Black Bart threw him through the ropes. Now here comes Black Bart around behind us. He's coming in from behind on Simpson. Simpson is bolted forward into that little stairway. Now his head goes on to the edge of the ring. Black Bart puts him up on the apron. Simpson rolls back in the ring. The champion steps through the rope. Simpson goes to the midsection, but Black Bart goes to the eyes. This man is showing us that he is a very rough character. And you heard from his accent that he has spent the greater portion of his life in that South Dakota region. Simpson is picked up backwards, dropped over the knee, and then flat on his back across the mat. Black Bart at 300 pounds pins him for 2. Has some sort of move, I understand, called a Texas mule kicker. I can't imagine what that is. He's held numerous belts and has wrestled all over the world. The chokehold is counted off by Bronco Lubitsch, the referee. Suplex going through the air. Down goes Steve Simpson. 1, 2. Black Bart locking up the neck of Steve Simpson. Let me throw in a quick but very important word. Tomorrow in Edom, Texas, the big Arts and Craft Festival there that went on all day today continues tomorrow. Fritz von Erich will be there with the modern-day warrior, Kerry von Erich. Your opportunity to go by and see a great array of merchandise and antiques, meet and get to know Kerry and Fritz. That's tomorrow in Edom. That's 15 miles east of Canton on Highway 279. Edom, the new home of Fritz von Erich. That's not very far from Dallas. Hope you can make the drive over. Fans making noise for Steve Simpson here in this world title situation. Knee to the midsection. Joe Ranelli keeping Bronco Lubitsch informed of time cues here in this bout. 60-minute time limit. We've had about 9 minutes gone by. Simpson is on his back. Here's a pin. Count them 1 and 2. Head into the mat again. We have a blockbuster card coming to the Mesquite Rodeo Arena, but I hate to go into that here during this world title event. I will get to that a little later because we've got a lot more coming up. After this world title bout, we've got Gary Hart coming out. We've got a big bout between the grappler and Brian Adias, and that's when I'll hit that Mesquite excitement, so stay tuned. It's a week from tomorrow with tickets available at all Rainbow Ticketmaster outlets. Here comes Black Bart across. Diving over all the way out onto the floor. Simpson saw him coming and just ducked out of the way. That's simple. And Black Bart went flying over the rope all the way to the floor. Nothing was there to break his fall. Great opportunity for Steve Simpson now. A door has opened. He delivers the elbow. Black Bart falls back. It could be. It might be. No. 2. If Steve Simpson wins this belt, this place is going to go wild. Black Bart down. 1, 2, and a foot in the rope saves the champion. Simpson with 2 serious threats at pinning him right there. Black Bart goes to the corner. Simpson charges, delivers the knee to the midsection before Black Bart delivers a right to the chin. There's another quick jab. Simpson locks him up. They move to the right rope. Here's a throw to the left side. Coming back, it's Black Bart who goes down. Bart, who has the size advantage here on Simpson, picks him up and drops him over that top rope with all of the weight of his body falling forward. 1, 2, 3, and there is your world champion again, ladies and gentlemen. This newcomer, a bolt from the blue, Black Bart, has defended the belt.
Retaining the World Heavyweight Championship bout in 9 minutes 52 seconds, Black Bart.
Black Bart, the South Dakotan from the Badlands, who entered this building on a gray horse and walked around the ring, now walks out on his own with the gold over the shoulder. Your World Heavyweight Champion presents the 3rd annual World Class Championship Wrestling Cotton Bowl Extravaganza at the Cotton Bowl on the fairgrounds Sunday afternoon, October the 12th at 5 p.m. Tickets are available now at all Rainbow Ticketmaster outlets in the Metroplex and in North Texas for this extravaganza, which features a return match between Abdullah the Butcher and Bruiser Brody with not 1 but 2 referees. Also at the Cotton Bowl, you'll be seeing Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer and Maniac Matt Borne defending the World Tag Team title against a suitable team. We'll have additional news about this blockbuster event as the bouts are signed. Choice seats available Monday night right here at Will Rogers Coliseum, and again Friday night at the Sportatorium for our in-person customers. That's October the 12th, 5 o'clock at the Cotton Bowl in Big D. The State Fair of Texas presents the Cotton Bowl Extravaganza. Gary Hart has joined me now, and we're going to talk about this State Fair thing. But first, I want to mention to you about the Elimination 6-man bout Monday. It's a great bout, some great names, but you'll be teaming with some people that you don't get along with very well.
True. But you don't always have to like or get along with your teammate if you know that the prize at the end of the rainbow is Bruiser Brody. Now, you're familiar of the stipulation in this match. It's an elimination tag match, meaning when a man is eliminated, he leaves the ring. So it could get to be 1 against 3, 2 against 3, but it will begin 3 against 3. And as I said to you earlier, I've waited till this time because you know I've had a lot of problems with Abdullah the Butcher, getting him into the world-class area, keeping him in the world-class area, and I feel that now's the time that I should unleash the sleeper hold.
Now, Gary, wait a minute. This is the hold that I've been told to not even mention. Can you get away with this? That's a deadly hold.
I've gotten away with everything else. I didn't institute the hold when I brought Abdullah the Butcher into the world-class area simply because I knew that it would cause so much controversy that Abdullah and Gary Hart would be gone. But
Gary,
the time is here. Mark, the time is here. Maybe tonight, but for sure next week, you people will see the most deadly hold to date in professional wrestling. You talk about your claw. You talk about your suplexes. You talk about sleepers. Well, when the Butcher puts them to sleep, even I can't wake him up because he has a unique manner of where he reaches under the jaw and grabs the nerves and the carotid artery that runs to the brain. And on one side, he stops the flow of blood. And on the other side, he deadens the nerves.
Gary, do you realize what can happen
I realize exactly what can happen. This is one of the most important preliminary events leading up to the Cotton Bowl.
Does the Cotton Bowl have anything to do with this decision?
The Cotton Bowl has everything to do with it. Tarrant County Convention Center, Fritz von Erich, Bruiser Brody tried to rip the big black off, but it didn't go down so well, did it? Next Monday night, they'll try Bruiser Brody, Lance von Erich. I hear Kevin wants in. But I got a lot of respect for Matt Borne, and I got a whole hell of a lot of respect for one Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. And I got a lot of respect and a lot of faith and confidence in Abdullah the Butcher. And since I've decided that now is the time to institute the sleeper, I have all the confidence in the world. There's a very good possibility, Mark, that they better start bringing stretchers to every match. Because like I said, it's unlike Mark Lewin's sleeper. When Abdullah puts them out, not even I can wake them up. It's in the hands of somebody else. Cotton Bowl, 2 referees. Let's find 2 good referees. And why don't we find a man of color to be the second referee? Why don't just one time we give it a fair opportunity? Let's put the prejudices aside. Let's find out, like I already know, who the king of the mountain is. And now that I've decided to institute the sleeper, Mark Lawrence, I think I will convince the masses once and for all that Abdullah, the big black from the Sudan, is the greatest wrestler that Gary Hart has ever presented to world class. And you people know that I've presented a dozen great ones. Now, I want you to do one thing for me. You remember, I've waited, and I've waited.
I wish you'd wait a little longer.
I choose not to wait anymore. I'm clean of anything. Let it be. What'll happen will happen.
Well, I'm not going to bet
for the world-class heavyweight tag team championship. The winner of this match will face Matt Borne and Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer for the World Tag Team Championship. First, let me introduce to you Gary Hart's men, the Dingo Warrior and Socko. Their opponents for this match, on my left, the gentlemen Chris Adams and Lance von Erich. This is one fall, 15-minute time limit. Rick Hazard, your referee.
Okay, this is the semifinal bout, which will see the winner of this bout go on to face the Mad Dog Sawyer Maniac Matt Borne team for the World Tag Team title. A lady has just presented Lance von Erich with a beautiful jacket, which he will show to the fans there. Certainly a nice gesture by that young lady. Here we go now. Rick has to officiate a very important bout. Winner of this semifinal event goes on to the finals for the World Tag Team title. This long tournament that has gone on will settle this long-standing vacancy of the old American belt, which was turned into the World Tag Team title this past spring. Chris Adams and Lance von Erich became a team due to the injury by Steve Simpson and the involvement of Bruiser Brody in a big bout with Abdullah the Butcher. And here we go. The Dingo Warrior backing Lance von Erich up. And then Lance will back him up a bit. A battle of the builds with these two, the young, strong, nice-looking men. The slap, headlock by the Dingo as Lance von Erich gets locked up. The Dingo Warrior with Socko. Semifinal action, clear-cut favorite here is the Lance Adams team, and the Tarrant County Convention Center makes noise. Well, Dole King, we're down to 3 teams remaining in the tournament now. 2 of them are in the ring, and the winner here faces the Sawyer Borne team. Here comes the Dingo from the rope. Leapfrog by Lance Von Erich. Over and down goes Lance, and the elbow misses by the Dingo. Doyle, have there been any big surprises or big disappointments? Big drop kick by Lance in your mind as you watch this long tournament.
Well, I think in my mind, as in the fans' mind, nice move by Adams there. Another drop kick on the Dingo. Was the fact that Kevin Von Erich got his team disqualified by being outside on the apron and disqualified himself on that 10 count with that right. What a drive. Dingo running full blast into that turnpost. That turnpost area as Adams moved out of the way and got the tag on Lance Von Erich. But the disqualification of Kevin and Lance, that was the big disappointment in my mind and in the fans' mind. Lance Von Erich there misses the drop kick on the Dingo. Dingo with repeated kicks to that right shoulder area. Forearm to the back. Here's the sling. Lance on the way in. Clothesline right across the body, the ribcage of Lance Von Erich. Adams is up on the top. There's the count of 2. Dingo on Lance Von Erich.
Well, it's going to be a great final bout, Doyle, between whichever of these teams wins here against the Sawyer Borne team as the Socko moves in.
This is our first opportunity to see the Socko in against Lance Von Erich. Goes up for a body slam. Big drive down. Socko, missed the elbow. Lance waited on him. Little tumble there, and Chris Adams comes in. And look how fast he moves in. Adams, of course, probably in the best physical condition of his life. Looking towards that. Watch this move right here.
Going to be a catapult by Chris Adams. Here goes Socko.
Right into the fist of Lance Von Erich. That's some kind of an introduction into world-class championship wrestling right there. Here's the tag. Adams tries to get the Socko up. Got him up now, and Lance Von Erich clothesline as Adams drops him. There's the hook of the leg. Count of 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, what a move. What kind of strategy that was.
Winner of the match, Lance Von Erich, and gentlemen, Chris Adams. They now advance to the championship match against Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer and Maniac Matt Borne.
And can you believe your eyes? Here is the Dingo Warrior turning on his new partner, the Socko, body slamming him, belting him with lefts and rights. Now the stomp. This is uncalled for by the Dingo Warrior on the Socko, his new partner.
Look at those. Look at those chops. You can hear them. Here's the sling. Big clothesline. Full forearm across the neck and throat. And the Dingo spitting on Socko.
A terrible, unsportsmanlike move. Socko is thrown to the floor. The Dingo has behaved like a child here. A terrible way to end this bout as he and the Socko were eliminated.
And could this be because Gary Hart is not here to manage these two after Fritz Von Erich put that iron claw on him earlier tonight?
That's a good point, Doyle King. I'm going to get out of here before this gets any worse. We'll be back. Has to be carried out of this ring on that stretcher. There it is. I don't know who's going to handle the stretcher when it's over. I hope it's not me and Jim Lund. Rick Hazard is on his way out, evidently to be the referee, as we await on the arrival of Gary Hart and Abdullah the Butcher. This bout is a little scary when you think about it, because what are you going to have to do to somebody to put them in a state which requires them to be carried out on a stretcher? So, like I say, if we have to go to black all of a sudden, that's because it gets out of hand. We'll hope that that doesn't happen. Now the million-dollar question is, where is Gary Hart? Here he comes up the aisle with Abdullah the Butcher following, and I'm very concerned, genuinely and deeply concerned about Gary Hart talking about this dreaded sleeper. I've been prohibited from talking about the consequences of this sleeper for some time now, under the assumption that Gary would never be allowed to use it. I hope someone can put their foot down before this gets worse. Doyle King is very wisely standing outside the ring for this introduction. Let's join him.
This event brought on by last week's bloody battle between the combatants that are in the ring and or entering at this time. This event is a stretcher match. There are no rules in this event. There is no time limit. Pinfalls do not count. Anything goes. The only way to win this match is to beat your opponent to the point of having him being carried out of the arena on a stretcher. First, on my right, in the white corner, manager Gary Hart presents from the Republic of Sudan, weighing 481 pounds, Abdullah the Butcher. And in the center of the ring, weighing in at 300 pounds from the Zulu Nation in Africa, the mighty Zulu. Rick Hazard is your referee.
All right, there's Gary Hart with Abdullah. And this bout is ready to get started. The stretcher's been placed over here under the rope in front of Doyle and Joe and myself. Gary Hart holding that hood over the face of Abdullah. Let's go, and here we go. I'm going to move this stretcher out of the way just a little so that doesn't interfere in the bout. But like Doyle said, there are no rules, so we're not going to worry about a DQ. This match goes on until one man has to be carried out. Zulu, who came to Texas with but one thing on his mind, to get at Abdullah the Butcher for an evidently debilitating injury to his younger brother some time ago. A big headbutt by Zulu ends in those jabs to the throat by Abdullah the Butcher. Zulu is thrown to the floor, and we all go scampering. I hope the Butcher stays in the ring. Here's Abdullah. And Zulu is brought back in. Anything goes in this bout. Gary Hart is manager at ringside as Abdullah now chokes Zulu with a foot in the throat. He's standing on Zulu now. All of that weight. And Gary Hart says anything goes, and for once he's right. Gary Hart is the greatest manipulator I have ever seen. Zulu rakes the eyes. Chop to the back. Drive to the midsection. Zulu giving the Butcher his money's worth. The Butcher about to fall out of the ring. Zulu about to knock the Butcher out of the ring, and he does. Zulu knocks Abdullah the Butcher out onto the apron, and this crowd loves it. A big one in Fort Worth tonight. Look out. Head on to the, well, not quite on the table. Abdullah stopped himself. They've got the mic. And it goes over the head. Abdullah now begins to bleed a little bit. You can hear that mic popping as Zulu pounds Abdullah the Butcher with a house mark over the head, into the throat, into the belly. Oh, he's just murdering him with that house mark. The fans here, he has torn the house mic in two. There goes a piece of the mic. Grab that, Doyle, and show it on the camera if you can. They have ripped the wires out of the house mic. Look at what is left of it as Zulu grabs a chair and pounds Abdullah the Butcher with a steel chair. The chair falls to the floor. House mic ripped in two. Zulu trying to rip Abdullah in two. Abdullah is bleeding as Zulu crawls back into the ring, and the Butcher is just in a daze and falls out on the floor. Zulu back out with him. Wires hung all over the place. Chairs overturned. much with the Butcher out on the floor other than just maintain the momentum that he already had. Butcher in bad shape. We've never seen him in this bad of shape in any bout. David Manning's out to help with the stretcher for whoever goes out on that. It's the Zulu who's winning this war for the time being. Look at the thousands of fans who are standing in Will Rogers Coliseum to see this. Abdullah the Butcher in trouble with the Zulu. Stomping the big man. We are without a house mic. It's been ruined. That baby will never be used again. Zulu with a headbutt onto that bludgeoned head of Abdullah the Butcher. Gary Hart watching very concernedly from ringside as Abdullah falls on his back again. And Zulu says, bring in the stretcher. I don't know if we've quite gone that far yet. I don't like the looks of this foul. Like I said, if it gets too bad, we'll just have to go to a commercial. Coming from the ropes down onto the Abdullah with the splash. Here he comes again. Another big splash. We've never seen Abdullah the Butcher in this condition. Here comes the stretcher. The Zulu has got Abdullah the Butcher laying flat out in the ring. Fans are excited, and the Zulu just continues. Now, how are they ever going to get this guy on the stretcher? David Manning in the ring with the stretcher. They're going to try to get Abdullah onto it. Zulu is making things worse by continuing his pulverization of the big man. This is the opportunity that Zulu has been waiting for. Now David Manning asks Rick Hazard how they're going to get him out. Abdullah now rolls off the stretcher. Look at the crowd in here. These people are standing, thrilled with this bout. Uh-oh, here goes the Butcher. While David Manning and Rick Hazard are over dealing with a stretcher, the Butcher has pulled out a long white object similar to that thing that they took away from him at the Sportatorium the other night when Rick Hazard searched him. Now, Abdullah has hidden the object away again. He pulled it out of his boot to begin with. I don't know where it is now. Abdullah the Butcher now, with the aid of the object, has the Zulu back out on the floor. Gary Hart coaching him on. Keep your eye on Abdullah. Here he comes. Hope he doesn't take an interest in me. And he jabs that into the throat. He screams out the referee. Notice how he keeps Hazard behind him. I think now he had the object in his mouth. Now he's got my chair. Abdullah throws the chair onto the Zulu. Fans angry at Gary Hart now. There's a falling elbow onto the concrete, which doesn't give even a fraction of an inch. The Zulu's in serious trouble now out on the cement as Abdullah's dropped the elbow in. He's already used the object. He's now using those big boots at the bottom of that 400-pound body. Bronco Lubitsch and Ralph Pulley are out there bringing the stretcher around now for the Zulu, who's in a heap on the camera cable. Fans booing now. They don't want to see this bout end this way. Zulu is trying to get up. He doesn't want to get on any stretcher. He's grabbing the stretcher away. He throws the stretcher down and spits on it. The Zulu is not through yet. This bout may go on all night. Jim, if we need to go to an extra commercial break, let me know. Abdullah and the Zulu are at it, coming back into the ring. I'm with you. Jim Lund in contact with me as we will bring you all of this that we possibly can. We've got one more commercial break to go to before midnight. If we do have to do that, you won't miss a thing. We'll just stop tape and pick up immediately and insert the commercial in the studio. You won't miss a thing. Abdullah from the corner with the elbow. All right, we're going to stop tape. You won't miss a thing. We'll be right back. We're back. Abdullah comes in with an elbow. You didn't miss a thing. We just inserted the commercial in the middle of the tape. Abdullah the Butcher on the Zulu here in this bout that may go on all night because it continues until one man is carried out of the ring on a stretcher. From the way it looks, Abdullah must have something underneath that neck because his hands are not connected together. He must have something under the neck. Nice camera work by our crew. Here's Gary Hart climbing up. What's he doing? Gary coaching him on. I wonder if this is that hole that Gary was talking about. I don't see anything under there. Great tight shot from Bonnie, our floor camera girl. I didn't see anything under that chin. This must be the sleeper hole that Gary's been talking about. David Manning and Gary Hart into it now. Many of the fans still standing here at Will Rogers Coliseum. Fans booing Abdullah the Butcher as he continues on the Zulu. Rick Hazard trying to count Abdullah off. Here comes Gary Hart again. David's got the stretcher now. Gary's in the ring here in the middle of a bout. Rick Hazard said ring the bell. Evidently Zulu's out. Gary into some wild hypnotic communication. Zulu evidently is out cold, and this is obviously that sleeper move that Gary Hart told us about. I hope the Zulu is still with us. David Manning checking the standard submission method by raising the hand. And it now looks like the Zulu is going to be the one carried out as Gary Hart pulls the rabbit out of the hat with this new sleeper hold on Zulu in this special stretchered stipulation bout. Look at Abdullah back there, a madman. He could keep running. He could run out of the corner at any moment and make this worse. Gary trying to hold him back. We're running out of time as they put the Zulu on the stretcher. Fans in person will see the sixth man. That's why you need to be here each and every week to see it all. Get your Cotton Bowl tickets early as we see Zulu stretched out onto the stretcher.